What are you doing as a third-year associate standing up in federal court trying to take credit for being this terrific, legendary trial lawyer? Who knows what I was thinking?
This is Unlawful. Welcome to Unlawful. I'm very excited about our special guest today, Federal Judge Andrew Edison. Judge Edison's been someone I've looked up to almost my entire legal career as a person who really cares about the practice of law and takes it seriously without necessarily taking himself too seriously. And as a result, he's a perfect example of what we think about here at Unlawful. People who really delete out the awful of the legal practice and are capable of finding the good, both in the practice of law and in the results it provides. Welcome to the show, Judge Edison.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Judge Edison, what's your unlawful moment?
It was the moment when, as a third-year associate, I tried to take credit for being one of the top trial lawyers in America.
What were you thinking?
I'm not sure I was thinking. That's the problem. It was just spur-of-the-moment deal that I can laugh at so many years later.
Somehow it ended up being unawful, right?
It turned out to be a great memory that I can laugh at and have laughed at and told for many years. Looking back at it today, I think I was nuts. I was absolutely crazy. What are you doing as a third-year associate standing up in federal court trying to take credit for being this terrific, legendary trial lawyer? Who knows what I was thinking? I was a very young lawyer, and I think it's important. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You can't take yourself too seriously. And I was involved, as I say, a young lawyer, in a huge securities fraud case. Got filed. Actually, about 15 cases got filed. They all land before Judge Lynn Hughes in Houston. He holds a hearing, and Cliff and I are the only people at our table on an island by ourselves. And on the other side of the courtroom, there are 50 plaintiffs' lawyers. They're in the jury box. They're at the counsel table. They're in the audience. And they're all vying to impress Judge Hughes. Judge Hughes walks out on the bench, scans the courtroom, looks over to the plaintiff's side, and then looks over to our side, and he says, "Wow, it is a terrific honor to have one of the greatest trial lawyers in America, true tribute to the bench and the legal profession here with us today." And for some reason, I, as a third-year associate at the firm, decide this would be a good time to stand up. And I stand up and I look at Judge Hughes and I said, "Thank you, Your Honor. It's very good to see you as well." He was clearly talking about my mentor. And I still can't believe that I did that. That took, I was going to say guts, but maybe something even worse than that. Judge Hughes could have reacted in two ways. Either he could have told me to shut up, sit down, and get out of the courtroom, or he could have chuckled. And I think he did not see that coming, and he laughed at it, and we've always had a good relationship since. And Cliff and the client who was there, they always laugh about it and say they can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. But I think it is my unlawful moment, because you got to laugh at yourself.
You really seem to have an enthusiasm for the practice of law in a way that a lot of lawyers get beaten out of them. And what's been interesting is we become friends as I become an adjunct professor at U of H, and you've become a judge. And it's been really interesting to see you continue to have that appreciation for the practice even as a judge. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. You're very kind to start off. I think we have the best job in the world as lawyers and judges. We get to help people every day. And I think you can't take that for granted. You can't lose that perspective. And sure, there are a lot of long nights and long weekends and hard work. But at the end of the day, you get to help people, and there's no reason your job shouldn't be fun. You should enjoy it. You don't want it to feel like it's work. And I think too many people lose that perspective. And I think it's important to enjoy what you do. As I always tell people, especially younger lawyers, if you stop enjoying what you do, find another job. Life is too short, and you better, damn it, enjoy what you're doing on a daily basis.
And I think the reason people struggle is, you mentioned the time commitment. Obviously, being a lawyer or being a judge, even more so, can take over your life because there are always decisions to be made. And also, I think another thing that happens to lawyers, judges, clients when they have to be involved in lawsuits is just the weight of accountability. And when you have to do it every day, it becomes more understandable why people get bogged down in it, why it becomes more difficult. And as a judge, lawyers going through that all the time.
You know what's interesting, and you're right, I think there's a lot of weight on everyone's shoulders, especially as a trial lawyer. I remember I took my clients' problems home with me, and I admired those folks that could turn off the switch. I couldn't do it. I wake up in the middle of the night, sweating, thinking about a client's case. It's always funny to me because people say, oh my gosh, you must be really stressful as a judge. And I look back and I say, boy, it was a lot more stressful as a lawyer, because as a lawyer, you got your client, the pressure, you're the representing your client. As a judge, my sole job is to get the answer right. And I get to work as hard as I can, do my best to get the answer, but I'm not necessarily have the weight of representing someone who might fire me, whose life might be on the line, whose career might be on the line, whose company might be on the line. And there is a lot of pressure, and that's why I think it's important for lawyers, you got to balance your life. I always try to live by the motto, work hard, play hard, and don't do all work, don't do all play, but try to have the balance between the two. And to that end, when our daughter was born 20 years ago, I promised my wife I was going to have dinner at home every night. I traveled a lot, but when I was in Houston, I was going to have dinner at home every single night. And sure, I went back to the office late at night. I'd wake up early, but I think it's important to have that balance in your life. Work hard, play hard.
I try to practice in my life the concept, if I can, I do. If I can be there for my daughter, I do it. I don't think twice if there's anything I can do. And I try to do that in my own life and with respect to other people, and especially my family. And I think that contributes to the balance. One of the things you said that I really like, because we both worked at big law firms that get characterized as capital B, capital L, big law oftentimes. And those are who the jokes and who the cynicism and who a lot of the negativity around the practice of law come to. But one of the things you said that I take to heart in my own practice is that when you're working for a client, you're not billing hours to make as much money as you can. The hours are going to be there. If you know what you're doing, there are going to be plenty of hours to bill. But what really makes it matter is that you join their team. And I've always taken it very personally when I'm on my clients' teams to be a part of their business and to be a part of their solutions. And it's always heartening to hear other lawyers say that as well.
Very true. And as I say, I admire those people that are able to turn the switch off and go home to their family and not think about it. I just was never able to do it. And you just got to be able to balance it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing your perspective. That's Unlawful.